fact that, hey, my natural hair rises to the occasion. It does not fall. So when I, wash and brush my hair out, and just like Peggy Sue or whatever washes and brushes her hair out, hers might fall straight down, and that's it, and she can walk into work, and that's over and done with. Nobody's going to blink twice. But if my hair is in a natural fro and it's gloriously big, people have something to say. No, you don't have a right to have something to say about that. This is me being natural, being me. My God-given hair. So shut up, sit down, let me do me. That's the whole point of that. And then when she's wearing her clothes, as long as she doesn't have, an inappropriate amount of skin, hanging out, or, logos or anything that are offensive, because of course, because you're in the media, you can't advertise specific things. I get that. But sitting there saying that it's too ethnic, excuse me? No. You don't have a right to tell me what's too ethnic. This is my culture, whether you understand it or not. So, shut up. And that's my opinion on that part. Terry Crews should have shut up too. Let's go ahead and be honest. You should have just shut the fuck up.
Folks, we are back with another episode of Shoot the Shit on today, Friday, Valentine's Day, the day of couples, and the day of singles. And of course, this is our 10th, I was going to say anniversary, but it almost feels like an anniversary. Our 10th episode. Mr. Tuber, say hello to the people on this, our 10th episode, sir.
Hey, good people. Mr. Tuborgs, huh?
Yeah, I know. We started.
I kind of like that. That might work.
It might work. Oh, my goodness. So, we always have guests, right? And I said, it's Valentine's Day. What better guest would there be but to be your significant others, right? Your significant others. So, without further ado, let's introduce the wives of the KNOE themselves, Miss Tess and Tzezuko. Say hello to the wonderful people. Are they on mute?
Hello.
Oh, there goes Tzezuko. We got one. And Miss Tess.
Meow meow. Hi.
Hello. Welcome to the show. I don't know if y'all listen to this show, but we're here every Friday, 10 o'clock. And yes, we like to have fun. And something new that we always do with the show is now we start off with the opening monologue, right? So, I know you're a wonderful dog. So, let's address the people, right? Let's address the people, and let's start with the opening monologue, which will be handled by Khan today. And let's begin. So, people, funny story. I have a conversation with my brother, and he shows me a gif of a character. Well, a musician, but still a character. A musician. And that musician is Rick James. And I signal to him. I'm like, yo, man, you're too young to know who Rick James is. And he's like, Rick James is timeless. Everybody should know. I said, okay, yeah, Chappelle's Show and all that stuff, right? So I told him this story about how when I was a little kid, for Halloween, I wanted to dress up like Rick James. Yes, folks, Rick James. Yes. Street Songs cover. I don't know if anybody's ever seen it before, but he's standing there next to a big giant light. He's got the nice bright black boots with the black leather with the red stripes on it. Oh, and that guitar, that's what I wanted to be. And my brother asked me, why? Why would you want to be Rick James? He didn't add the bitch, but, Chappelle. But anyway, I said, because at that time, that was my hero. And he's like, your hero? It's Rick James. It's a guy who sings songs. Why would that be your hero? And then I sat back and I told him, I said, because at that time, even though I used to have Spider-Man dolls, and I could show pictures of me with my little Spider-Man figure and everything, there was really nothing on TV in terms of representation for me as a hero. So when I myself had the heroes that we would see on TV, it was always something that I would see in music videos and in movies. So our heroes were not always the best role models, you know? And this is what I want to get to in terms of this monologue of representation, right? I remember talking to my mom the next year and saying I wanted to be a pimp. Now, folks, I know you're listening to this and you're thinking it's crazy, but think about this for a minute. You're a 9-year-old kid and you want to be a pimp, right? You don't understand what the meaning of being a pimp is, but when you watch TV, you see these people of your color, African American, brown tone. They have money, they have women, it seems like they have power. And these, to you, become your heroes. And representation matters. I didn't have Michael Knight. I liked Michael Knight. I love Kid. But Michael Knight didn't look like me, right? And you say, Aaron, well, you could have went with Mr. T and the A-Team. Mr. T? He was a fucking pansy. The man was afraid to go on planes. The man was afraid to go on planes. Yeah, I'm sorry, Two Beers, he was. He was a pansy. He did nothing. I was a Murdoch guy. I was a Face guy. Hell, I would even be a Hannibal guy before him. But the point of the matter is representation matters, right? There was nobody on TV or immediate media that could give me an influence with a positive influence. And this is what I want to bring in the monologue. Now, today, when a kid goes in, and yes, you have Black Panther, you have few heroes, but there's more of it, right? Imagine how much different it would have been if I grew up with Black Panther and Black Lightning and all these other wonderful heroes. Imagine if I went to TV and I could see all these wonderful black doctors and lawyers and so forth. How much the path of what I wanted to do in life would have changed. Yes, there was black chemists, but they weren't shown, right? You had to go out of your way to look at it. So folks, next time people say, I want to do an all-female movie, or I want to do an all-Hispanic movie about our culture, it's not pandering. Representation matters. It may not matter to you, but it matters to that little kid who's looking up to try to find a hero. Any comments from the people? And I'll end the monologue on that. Any comments for the people on representation? All right, Tess, any comments? No.
9-year-old pimping, but okay.
Yes, it happens.
I'm glad you explained that. That makes a lot of sense, though.
Yes, Tzezuko.
Yeah, I do get it. I know that I had a lot of the same issues as a kid, because most of the stuff I saw were, very pretty Caucasian girls, and I was looking around for some awesome black girls that looked like me. There weren't a whole lot that were not, the side character or the comic relief or whatever. And it's definitely a big difference now from when we were, growing up. So I get it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so with that said, we are going to go into our topics. Now, the first set of topics, which is new to the show, is just quick updates. We don't do real long, deep dives into these. These are just real quick updates to basically stuff that we basically talked about beforehand. So we'll start off with one. Thank God there's no Xbox and PlayStation 5 for me and Two Beers to argue for 45 minutes on. But the first topic, though, we'll gloss over real quick is that Sony is coming out that Sony parts for the new PS5 are estimating at about $450 for each unit. So this is the cost of the unit before it even comes down. So most people are trying to figure out what the price of the PlayStation 5 is going to be. And Sony doesn't know. They're kind of waiting for Microsoft to say, hey, our system is going to be this, so they try to undercut it. $450 for the unit, I don't know. Maybe it's coming out at $500. Maybe they make $50, or maybe they just put it at $450 and they make no profit. Real quickly, I will go to YouTube here since this is a real quick topic. What do you think about the price? $500? What do you think the starting price is going to be for the PS5?
I've heard a whole lot of rumors being rolled around depending on the Microsoft price that they're probably going to drop at $470. and because apparently they did something similar with the previous console, also where they were only making about $20 to $25 profit per console for the first year. So like I think they're going to probably roll with 470 to 475. If Microsoft, which is projected to come out at 500, I think they should absolutely, to be smartasses, they should drop theirs to $449.99.
Gotcha.
I mean, I would do it.
Yeah.
So like, I think they should drop it just like that. So it's like, hey, not only are we dropping it $1, not only are we dropping it right below, so you're not actually cutting even on the systems, but you're actually going to lose like a small amount of money if you match price with us. So I would do it that way.
Okay. Real quick, Tzezuko, your input on this?
Yeah, I can kind of see them doing that too, actually. Just because
Yeah.
they're
Miss-
kind of jerks like that, but
I
it's
would go
awesome.
Miss Tess.
E3 and smile, look right in the camera.
Oh, yeah.
So, petty. I'm not interested in the PS5, but if they drop the price, it's funny and petty at the same time. So, yeah.
No problem.
Wow.
Yeah. It's funny. Everything is relying on Microsoft. If I was Microsoft, I would just drop it at 400 and eat it. I mean, you got enough money to take it.
Yeah, I would definitely do that.
Yeah, and just try to bankrupt Sony out of it. That's how I would go.
He's like, what you gonna do, guys?
Yeah. So next topic. So last week we saw, and I kind of wanted to get into it, but we kind of didn't have time to it. So the XFL, which is Vince McMahon's second coming to his own football league, premiered last week. It actually did pretty good. There was a lot of positive reviews. People on Twitter were tweeting out videos, and it got a lot of praise. So with this, now Vince is starting to distance himself from WWE, which, for those who don't know, is a very good thing. So I'm going to go with Tess on this one first. Do you think that WWE can improve if Vince is doing the XFL?
Yeah. Because then you won't have him lording over everything and doing his own, just old person point of view on things. Let the younger generation who actually live with the times do what they need to do to improve the company and stop going backwards, because it's terrible. Since he has to approve most everything that goes through his desk storyline, stop it. Just stop it.
I agree. For those who don't know, they will come up with a script a week before, and Vince McMahon will tear it the night of the show and make them rewrite it literally 10 minutes before the show starts. This has happened multiple times. I'm going to go, before I go to Zest, going to go with YouTubers, because I know you want to jump on this. Your thoughts on Vince McMahon and hopefully WWE improvement?
I'm not so sure. Like, even if Vince finally steps completely away from the company and puts all his focus into the XFL, he still has his people there, like who have a lot of sway. Like Kevin Dunn is still there, Bruce Pritchard is still there, and Pritchard is basically running SmackDown, and Pritchard is thinks just like McMahon. So I think a lot of his crappy ideas, well, his out of touch ideas that he has now later on in his life, I think we'll still see a whole lot of them flooding in. But I do think maybe that's finally the reason why him stepping away like this may be the reason why we finally came to an end with the whole Lashley storyline. Thank God.
Yeah, let's not get into that. We'll move on. I'm not bringing any. I'm not bringing up any WWE garbage here. Okay, let's go real quick. Do you think that WWE is going to improve if Vince McMahon steps away from it?
Just trying to think of what to say. I mean, he's from a older generation, which there's nothing wrong with that, in many senses, but we're at this point where a lot of the people that are watching and tuning into WWE are, over the quote unquote boomer era, and that whole thing that they do with that. So his perspective is vastly different from the perspective of most of the audience now. and the things that worked for him when he was running it isn't working so much now for a lot of the people that want to follow the storyline. So I think it's better if he takes his hands off and lets somebody else kind of take over.
Awesome. So we'll...
Good points made.
Very good points. So last week we did cover Snoop Dogg's comments towards Gayle King and Oprah Winfrey last week with the Kobe Bryant. This week Snoop issued an apology, of course, to Gayle King. She accepted the apology. I'm going to start with you, Ms. Tess. Thoughts on the Snoop Dogg apology and so forth?
I believe he kind of went in like that. But I can understand if that was a good friend of yours and, you know, he just passed, getting all up in your feelings and whatever. But at least he manned up and came out with the apology and everything like that. So that was good on him and everything. So
awesome. Tzezuko?
I think it was, as Miss Tess said, it was big of him, you know, for reaching out and apologizing. I personally think she was wrong as well, because, I mean, it was very uncouth. That was not the time to start ragging on somebody that had just died, and, you know, at least give somebody a little bit of time to grieve. But anyway, that's the whole nother thing. But yeah, it was good of him to try to, you know, end the beef, so to say.
Awesome. Two Beards.
I'm very happy that he came out and he actually said that he was sorry. I know you gotta take what you can get, but I felt the apology was a bit weak for all the shit that he had said before. But I'm glad he apologized. I'm glad she accepted it, and I'm glad we can move past it.
I am 100% in agreement with all you. As stated last week, I think Snoop went all over the edge with some of the stuff he was saying, like calling her a bitch and how I'll kill you. And I'm like, dude, I know you're upset, but it ain't that serious. It ain't that serious, dude. But
went for ashtray.
Yeah, ashtray, bitch. Yeah, he did. He went full ashtray, but I'm happy that he went past it, and hopefully, when other situations come up, you know, he thinks a little bit more before he releases videos like that on Instagram. And last but not least, Jussie Smollett is being charged, it seems like, again, with the same stuff he was charged last year for, where he faked an attack on him by MAGA people, which we all find out was just an act, I guess, to keep him on the show of Empire, which is coming to an end with its 6th season. I'll start off with you, Two Beards. Is this a waste of time and taxpayers' money to be reopening the same case again on this guy?
If they have proof, if they have actual proof that he actually did it, he should have actually. I feel that anybody, no matter what they look like, if they did a sort of crime, they should actually pay for it. Now he actually paid money, so they should at this point feel that he's actually paid for the crime, like no pun intended. But people who are watching, this is something that you should take a look at as well. This basically shows you that no matter how much money that you have, the rules still aren't the same. It's still a tale of two different cities. So it's like at first everybody's looking at it like this dude committed a crime and he got off. But at the same time, you're now seeing that even though he committed this crime and well, I'm sorry, because he was never proven guilty, but he actually paid his way out like a rich person would, but they're coming at him again because the police want him that badly. So that just goes to show you that even if you got the money, like it's still a tale of two cities. If everybody gets what I'm saying.
I feel the pride thing, and the police were mad that they basically look like a bunch of fools. So now they're trying to do whatever they can to, I guess, make it right within the eyes of the people, so they don't come out looking like a hot mess. So yeah, what he did wasn't cool. It was wrong.
Yeah.
But initially, if he paid his way out of that, that's nobody's fault but whoever let him pay.
Yeah.
But now they just want to come back and just like, oh, okay, no, it was wrong. We were right. It's like you said, it's a waste of money. We should have been handled correctly the first time and not get a makeup. I think it sets a bad example too. So now we can just let people buy their way out and then come back and like, oh, now we choose to prosecute you. Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so Tzezuko, as they brought up, so for the people, the district attorney who originally was in charge of the case last year, dropped all charges, decided not to go through prosecution. That district attorney's gone. They have a new district attorney in Chicago, and now they're bringing up this case. What are your thoughts on Jussie Smollett?
On this whole case just brings me back to a Boondocks quote. And it's just like, are we on this again? Again? It's just like, why are we doing this? Can we just get past this crap? There's more important things to worry about. As it's already been stated, he already paid. Whoever took the payment, bribe, whatever you want to call it, it's done. It's over with. If you open this can of worms, you could end up exposing some other really crappy, corruption in your own backyard. And I just don't think it's wise. Just saying. But anyway, sure, go ahead, try to persecute him. Why not?
Since they have
Seems
the new
smart.
guy in, something to try to prove, so of course that's what he's going to go after,
Yeah, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, I just think it's a waste of time and taxpayers' money, and, well, we'll see what happens for it. Maybe they, like OJ, they just want to put him behind bars.
That blue pride.
Yep. All right, so let's go to our real topics, and let's go into our ones that we're going to do deep dives in. And this one, let me bring it up. And this first one, I'm going to give to Tzezuko, but let me introduce it because I know she's a big fan of this show. So let's switch over to, for those who are listening, remember you can always join the chat and the conversation by joining our show. We record every Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time until we close here at ARNGM on Twitch. And let's move over to a link from Cosmic Book News, right? So they're stating, after some information that was obtained by 4chan, it's been let known that CBS has issues with the Star Trek franchise. Now, keep in mind, the person who let this actual information go first stated that CBS was going to be combining with Viacom for a streaming service. Everybody thought that was crazy. And then a couple of days later, they put it out. This is the same group that also started and told all the major plot points to Star Wars Rise of Skywalker way before the movie came out, and they were all set. So these leaks, take them for a grain of salt, but there's, some weight to behind them from the person who's exposing it. So going into it, I'm going to read it. It says there's no solid plan. So from the leak that they got from CBS, I guess it's emails or whatever, they stated that there's no plan for Star Trek going forward. Everything is in a mad scramble. Star Trek has never been doing worse for CBS. And basically, CBS management is furious at the hostile reception to Star Trek Discovery and the new series Picard. They stating that Alex Kurtzman is in the firing line, and that even though we've heard a lot of stuff about Section 31, there's literally no shows, which is kind of interesting because there was an article that did come in and state that whether they talked to, I believe, Ming-Na with Tzezuko, who's the leader of the for Section 31? Michelle Yeoh, where she stated, last I heard, I believe that is still in the works. So even she doesn't know. And that Star Trek Discovery Season 3 will be the last of Discovery. And that the last episode is written as the season finale. So you, Tzezuko, who I know is a big Star Trek nerd, how do you feel currently about all this leaked information about CBS and the demise of Star Trek?
Well, I certainly hope it's not true, because I personally have been enjoying Discovery and Picard. I can see why some of the old fans are not as much of fans for it, because it is definitely a departure. from the original and also from the Next Generation. I do have some issues, but at the same time, it's Star Trek. It still has the feeling of Star Trek. And how long's it been since we've had a really good Star Trek show? I'm looking at you, Enterprise.
Yep.
Just saying.
Dracula tries. he doesn't always succeed, but he tries.
We should give him a cookie.
Yeah, that man, unfortunately, he gets put on the show. It's a curse. So I feel bad for him, but yeah, he tries.
Anything else, Cisco?
Yeah. I mean, again, there are definitely issues, but you have to also update with the times. And that's why the new movies have taken a bit of a departure from the original movies.
Mm-hmm.
But they did pretty good. They made some money. But fans have to not be rabid and have to realize, hey, it's like 20 plus years later. Grow the hell up. Sorry.
All right, thank you. I'm going to go with you next, Two Beers. So I don't know if CBS measures success the same way Netflix does, where it's an additional subscriber. So if they introduce a show and they get X amount of subscribers, it's considered a hit. But what do you feel about these rumors of CBS being upset with Star Trek?
Since a lot of the information came from a 4chan leak, and even if the leaker has known to put out stuff in the that's true in the past, it's still 4chan, so like you always can expect a bit of troll. Like even from somebody who normally puts out good stuff, they may troll you with something else afterwards. For right now, this could all be true, but for right now I'm going to go with the the ratings all around from IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that. They give Picard a pretty good score. Discovery I can see, because Discovery's been hated on before it even launched. And we pretty much know why people hate Discovery. But I see nothing.
And why is that, Two Beers? Why don't you tell the populace, why do people hate on Discovery?
Boobs and ovaries.
God, no, not that.
Wait, you forgot something. It's not just boobs and ovaries.
Oh, and if this
But it's
hair.
melanated boobs and ovaries.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's the most hated.
Yeah, it's like
Holy crap.
it's like the Wizard of Oz of threats for fanboys. Boobs, ovaries, and melanin. Oh my! So yeah, like they've been like, people haven't even seen it. They still cry over how it's ruined the Star Trek and it's ruined the Star Trek universe. I'm like, you
can't have melanin in the future. So what the hell's up with that?
so like oh, you didn't know? Black people don't exist in the future, and we also don't exist in the past, and we also don't exist in fantasy.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, if it isn't a
Never go to Narnia. Oh my god.
if it isn't a slave movie up until like some modern day cop movie, we don't exist outside those realms. I mean, a black stormtrooper calls one of the biggest boycotts on the internet of all time.
All right, you're going off. You're going off.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going off track.
Okay, Miss Tess, your thoughts on? I don't know if you've seen Discovery or if you've seen Picard, but your thoughts on these rumors for the shows and Star Trek as a whole.
I like Star Trek as a whole. I haven't seen Picard or Discovery, so I can't really chime in on an opinion. So, but Two Beards had a point. It's 4chan, so yeah, take that as you will.
Cool. Also, they stated in there that Kurtzman has moved focus, I guess, to a new show called Clarice, which is probably based off of Silence of the Lambs, if it's called Clarice. So yeah, it's sad if that's the case. They said leaks have been going around with plot details for Pike's show or Picard season 2, are fake and they got nothing planned. So they're saying like if you got, there's information on the Pike show and Picard 2, all that stuff is a mess, and that as of right now Star Trek is a dumpster fire. It's a sad thing because I enjoy both. I watch both with my wife. I was hesitant on Discovery, and then even while I watched Discovery, it's just something about like the way it's filmed and the way it moves is so different. But this, I mean, overall, once you get past that, you know, it looking different, it's still a very fun show. So I'm really sad on both, and I hope that it's all a lie and that both shows, you know, get the normal good Star Trek run of 8 seasons and not the bad Star Trek run of 3 or 5. All right, so let's move on to our next topic. And our next topic, this is going to be a tough one. I know we're going to probably get flack from listeners on this one. So, Marvel has been talking about wanting to do a gay character in their films for the longest time, and it seems like the first openly gay character, which we know was coming, is going to be in Eternals, and it's going to be the character that's being played by Atlanta's Michael Tyree Henry. For those who may not watch Atlanta, he was also in Joker. He was the security guard in Joker. He was in the new Child's Play movie. I believe he was the officer in the new Child's Play movie. So he's an actor who's up and coming, starting to get a lot of hot roles. And he's going to be the first openly gay character in the show. So I'm going to start off with you, Tess. And I'm going to say this before I go into my thoughts on it. I'm going to go with yours. I don't have a problem with gay characters in movies or shows. My number one problem seems that they're always people of darker shade. So I'm going to go with you, Tess. I don't know if you have the same feeling that every time I see like commercials on AIDS and stuff, it always seems like it's always targeted towards black people and Hispanics. So anything having to do with like gay culture. So I don't know. I know a lot of people are going to probably jump on me for it, but how do you feel about this news and basically Brian Tyree Henry taking the role of the first gay superhero in Marvel?
I don't have a problem with it at all. I just don't want them to make the scenes forced. There's been so many like shows, movies where, oh great, you guys have a gay character, and now it's just something that's awkward on screen and something like that. It's like, okay, we understand that you're gay, but people want to add like characteristics and other things to their characters, and it's like, you know, everyone's normal. You don't have to put any additions onto anybody just because you just, oh, hey, we put a gay label on you, or hey, we put a black label on you. That automatically means you have to act a certain way. It's like, no, don't force it. I would love to see it natural and not awkward, you know?
That's fair. I'll go with you two, Beers. So I'll go with you next. What's your feelings on this?
I don't really have any. I'm just gonna wait to see how they portray it in the portrayed on screen. I see where you're coming at with the whole like they do tend to always pick a darker shade, and also with those certain type of commercials as well.
Yeah, it seems like it's like a double check box. It's like, oh yeah, we get 2 checks with this one. Continue.
And with Miss Tess's point, it's something that I was going to bring up earlier to compliment the pandering lines that we talked about earlier on. Like one of the things is that like whether you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, gay, etc., like there's no set template for that sort of thing. Like we're all different, like even within our own communities. So it's like whenever you have a character like that, I also you can do both, but I also feel that every time they're on screen, it doesn't have to be a they don't have to be a walking political point. So it's like because then at that point you get into the whole like people making the argument of because then at that point you get every time you get a portrayal a black character who's not necessarily seen as like a stereotype, or hip urban or some sort of jazzy cool type character. Like you start getting the language of they're pandering because everybody sees that type of character can only be a certain type of way instead of just human. And like so I'm also hoping with I'm also side with Miss Tess, and I hope that like it shows them being in a natural gay relationship without it actually sounding like like it was scripted from Tumblr or something like that.
Okay. Tzezuko, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I kind of agree with both points that have already been made. A lot of times when they do, quote unquote, check that checkbox, they make it a caricaturization. I can't even say the word right now, but you know what I mean. It's another stereotype that they press onto the public like eye. They give us this image of what a gay man is supposed to be, but specifically a black gay man, and usually they're super sassy or outspoken or what have you. Yeah, and I mean, you can look at media right now, you can see some of the more famous ones, and you'll see that they're all the same template. And that's not how all gay men are, specifically all black gay men. And kind of going back also to the first point, why did the first Marvel gay character have to be melanated? Just question.
All right.
So true.
So I'm going to go with my points, not to piss off everybody who's listening, who may be of the of that that community and so forth. But as I stated in the very beginning, representation matters, right? It's very important to me. Like, I want to see somebody of my shade, doing cool stuff, that I can look up to. And as somebody who's gay or may be gay, you want to have that representation in movies and so forth. So I understand the need for it, right? I don't have any problem whether you're black, you're white, you're Asian, or whatever. My problem seems to be the portrayal that Hollywood does with a lot of movies. A lot of the movies that you see a lot of times, and it's not all, trust me, I understand there's a lot of white gay characters, there's a lot of Asian gay characters and so forth, but a lot of the movies that I always seem to come across, and it just seems normal to me, it always seems to be a brother, and he's always like very flamboyant, and it's like the only type of gay black person there is, and like I could see movies, like I think the only time where I didn't see it was a show back on HBO. I think it was called 6 Feet Under, and it had the guy who played Dexter Morgan. He was gay, and he had a black husband, and neither one of them were, well, Dexter was sort of flamboyant, but it was still a lot toner than the other guy. And the other guy, like, you would never know. Like, he was like one of the guys. He's just a guy who was just gay, but he seemed like he was just a normal, regular mill guy. It wasn't that, hey, like the stuff you see for like Queer Eye and stuff. I don't mind. I understand there are people of that community, but that's not everybody. Sometimes you may not even know, right? It almost seems like if you're not flamboyant, then there's no way of knowing, and you can't even be assigned that tag, right? So I agree with what a lot of you said. I hope it's not a character, and I do too. Also agree with that. I just hope that from a Hollywood standpoint, and I don't mean this against anything. It's just that it's a lot of stuff in the history of African Americans where they try to take the idea of a black male and make it lower than that of human. And one of these things, what they used to do in Hollywood was take men and put them in dresses and make them jokes and stuff like that. This was a big thing in Hollywood, and a lot of people may not know this, but these are the type of things, right? And when you see a lot of it in like commercials and stuff like that, it may be just normal, maybe there is a percentage of higher gay black men than there are of any other ethnicity. I don't know. I didn't look at the numbers, but when you start seeing that, a lot of that stuff, you start thinking, why is it always like that? So that's my pet peeve. It's nothing against that or what they do. I don't care. It's their movies. I'm going to go see it either way, and the character, I'm probably going to, if he's well written, I'm going to love him, whether he's gay or not, but yeah, that's just my feeling on it. I hope it's good. I'm very excited for the Eternals, so this should be pretty interesting. I'm wondering if they're going to really go like way out, or if they're going to really tone it back with this character.
That's a good question.
Yep. Anybody, any other thoughts before we move on to the next topic? None. Okay. All right. This one, I'm going to start off with you, Mr. Two Beers, because you're the one who unveiled it for us. So Matt Reeves went on and he did a camera test and unveiled the new Batman. So let's swap over real quick. Let's take a look at it real quick. Let's all look at the new Batman played by Robert Pattinson, and then I will get your thoughts on it, on everybody, starting with Two Beers. Let's go. Two Beers, your thoughts on the Robert Pattinson Batman?
Very interesting. I see that they had a lot of influence from the Arkham Asylum games into the costume, which is a interesting way to go from the movies. I think for a lot of people, they're going to feel that he's too thin to be Batman, but I'm okay with that for Batman. So far, I like the costume. I do think Patterson has the acting chops, so that's going to be, I think he's going to pull off a real good Batman. It's supposedly based on a long Halloween, so that's another plus for me. So far everything is checking out to be looking good with the series. I kind of wish he had a 5 o'clock shadow of some sort, because he kind of looks like a baby face under the mask. So that's like the only thing I wish was added to it. But I did also hear a rumor that the bat symbol might actually be pieces from the gun that killed Martha Wayne. So that would be a pretty interesting take on that symbol as well. But other than that, so far I'm very interested in seeing it.
Okay, I'm going to go with you, Tess. Thoughts?
No, I'm not really a Patterson fan, and I don't like how he looks in the Batman outfit. You're right, he is a little thin for Batman. He needs a shadow, but if he's a good actor and pulls it off, good on him. I'm not a fan of how the bat symbol looks, but after Two Beard's explanation, if it has a good story behind it, okay, fine, but it just looks like metal Band-Aids put together and whatnot. I don't understand. I liked Affleck's Batman. I know people hated on it, but I have to see how Patterson does. For now, it's just, nope, I'm good, but I mean, he may prove me wrong, so, hey, we'll just have to wait and see.
Okay. And Tzezuko, before I get to you, Miss Tess did bring up a good point. A lot of people did hate on Affleck, but then when they first saw the first camera shots of Affleck, they were sold. I don't know if it's the same for Robert Pattinson. What are your thoughts so far on the view of Robert Pattinson?
I'm not a fan of Pattinson. Twilight destroyed it for me. I'm still just... I see sparkly vampire. Sorry, still see sparkly vampire. I'm sure he's not that anymore, but sparkly vampire in Daredevil costume. Yay! No, this isn't working for me. Not at all. As it's been pointed out, he's too thin. I don't even want to know what his voice is going to sound like at this point. The symbol doesn't work for me. If there's a good story, I might be able to buy it. I personally don't like the idea of it being the gun, because he went back and picked up the gun and held it for all these years and then decided to stamp it into his chest for some reason? I mean, we all know Batman is a little off, but come on.
Maybe that, Something triggered him. There you go.
He's triggered anyway. But I mean, okay. Give me a good story because I'm all about the story. And maybe, hopefully, if his acting is good, I can just lose myself in the character and forget that it's sparkly vampire Edward. But he's gonna have to sell that on me, and it's gonna be a hard sell at this point. And this first test ain't doing it. And I don't know why they chose red. Not a good idea because it just makes it more like Daredevil.
I agree with you on that one. Yeah, I think they should have went with like a darker blue or a gray or something. The red made it really hard to see, but I guess that was the whole point of it. But from my standpoint, I agree with a lot of what was stated. I know earlier there was a lot of reports and that WB was upset that he was too small and had to bulk up. I kind of agree with it. He did kind of look small. In fact, when Two Bears first sent it to me, he was like the new Daredevil, and I was laughing. I was like, nah, dude, this isn't Marvel Daredevil. And then I saw the bat symbol. I'm like, oh, that's Robin. It's Robin. Like I didn't even notice that he had the whole cowl on. I thought he just had the eye print. I'm like, oh yeah, this is Robin from some kind of fanfic, right? And then I'm like, wait, that's Robert Pattinson? And I'm looking up Robert Pattinson. I'm looking at his jawline. I'm like, oh shit, that is actually Robert Pattinson. Oh God. That's wow. That's our Batman.
Poor
okay.
guy.
Yeah. I know. So, I remember when I first saw Heath Ledger's Joker, and I was like, what the fuck is this, right? I don't care. For me, I had to see stuff in motion, right? And I know it was a video, it wasn't screenshots. I'll wait to see. You know, if he comes out and he's kicking ass and he's got the voice and all this shit, then, you know, I'll probably be like, all right, yeah, it's cool. I could get into it. He's Batman. He's my favorite Batman if he could own the role. I had no problem with his acting. I haven't seen a lot of his movies, but I've seen a lot of parts of him in different movies, and the man can act. He knows what he does. I'm not going to put Twilight against anybody, you know, unless you're Kristen Stewart, who only acts like this, you know. Then that's it. But
only plays a robot.
Yes, I'm good. Any other comments for the wonderful Batman reveal before we move on to our next reveal? Yeah.
The real weird red light. Some people were trying to surmise that they did that because they dropped the trailer on Valentine's Day. But I still actually think it's a
Focus on it, Marvel. Come on.
I still think it's it's more of a callback to show that it's part of the that's following along Halloween.
It's following along. What's that?
I still think it's basically an Easter egg or a hint to show that it's taking after the Long Halloween.
Oh, okay, the comic story. Gotcha.
Yes.
And can you explain real quickly to those who haven't read the book without spoiling it why the red is important in the Red Halloween? I mean, the Long Halloween.
For those who don't know about the Long Halloween, basically it's a detective story more than it's an action story. It's a mob mystery whodunit. It's crafted very well and very well done written by Jeff Loeb and drawn by Tim Sale. And Tim Sale does a lot of very simplistic colors. There was a lot of use of it being in black and white with just the red being shown for the actual color of the blood, making certain panels and stuff like that pop. It was like
gotcha.
So
okay.
It's more of a call to that. If you haven't read The Long Halloween, I do recommend it.
Okay, cool. So let's switch over to our screen. So for our next story, they're starting to film Suicide Squad 2, and as we can see, some set pieces of them in Panama start to come up. In the current one we have here, we can see Jeff Gunn with Harley Quinn making her return to Suicide Squad in a nice red dress, which we can see is of Spanish culture. So yes, they're in Panama. So I don't know if they're going to use Panama, but I'm sure they're coming up with their own town, which we'll go into just shortly. So we have a screenshot of that. We also have pictures of John Cena and Idris Elba, who are both in the movie. We don't know who both of those characters are playing. There's also video of them being escorted out of a building with like cops escorting them and putting them into a van. There's video of that, and yeah, that's pretty much it. There's just different shots of Harley Quinn from afar and far away, and you can see. So another thing that comes up is this flag right here. So let's go into this flag itself. So also, people are stating that the flag itself that we're seeing is a Penadora. So for any of those who know comics, that flag has significance to Bane. And so a lot of people are believing, because of the flag and the area, that it's signifying that we may get a cameo of Bane. We don't know if it's going to be Tom Hardy's Bane, but we may get a version of Bane in the Suicide Squad. So I'm going to start off with you, Tzezuko, on this one. What do you think of the screenshots of Suicide Squad? Are you excited? And do you think that we're going to get Bane in the new Suicide Squad 2 movie?
Okay, I'm going to preface this by saying I am fresh out of seeing Harley Quinn. I personally liked what they did with it. No spoilers. I like what they did with Harley Quinn overall. If this is the way that they're evolving their style, I have some hope for Suicide Squad, because there were good aspects of Suicide Squad. There were a lot of bad aspects of Suicide Squad as well. One of the biggest things is I feel that they relied way too heavily on CG. And I feel like they kind of pulled back on that in their latest movie in this quote-unquote series, I guess. So I'm hoping they're going to be a little bit more practical effects. And they've got some good actors. I'm not talking about Cena, sorry guys. I'm talking about hey. Now, he wasn't so bad in Bumblebee. He wasn't so bad. He was still Cena, but wasn't so bad. I didn't hate him, so that's saying something. But I like Idris Elba usually. I'm hopeful for him. I'll just say that. No Joker.
So as Tzezuko she's pointed out the CG, which is an interesting point. James Gunn has gone on the record as stating that they're not going to overuse CG in this movie, so that is one thing that he is cutting out. He's trying to make it as practical. He said no CG suits, so he's trying to make this as practical as he can. So I'm going to go with you, Tess, next. What did you think of this? And also, James Gunn is a pretty good director, so I have somewhat high hopes. But Tess, what are your thoughts on the screenshot, and do you think we'll get Bane in Suicide Squad 2?
It'd be cool if we got Bane, but if we do, I want to see. I think you brought it up earlier, like which version of Bane we get.
Okay.
But she looks so cute in the dress, and I'm still curious as to who Cena and Idris are going to be playing. So that had me wondering. Something's going down, and they're not telling yet. So, but we'll see.
Rumor has it that Idris may be Deadshot. I keep hearing yes and no against that, but Two Beards, your thoughts?
I'm very excited to see this. I think he's going to do Suicide Squad the way it's supposed to be done. Like, I think that's why there's so many actors involved in this, because he's going to actually show. He's really going to, like, instead of just like having Will Smith say over and over, but we're the bad guys, right? Like Suicide Squad. So instead of like having that say it over and over again, like he's actually gonna. I think Gunn's actually gonna show you literally how messed up it is that they have no choice in this, and how many of them are gonna die on these ridiculous missions that they're put through. Like one of the older set pieces actually showed Mongal, and if Mongal is as strong in this movie as she is in the comic books, like she's basically like if you like she's actually she can go toe to toe with Superman and Wonder Woman for a bit as far as power goes. So if she's in there, I'm expecting some people to die during that scene. So I think John Cena might be King Shark. That's what I'm going to take a guess on.
Interesting. King Shark. Okay.
I do keep on seeing the pictures of Idris, and he's actually in the a very Deadshot like suit. So I'm wondering if they actually just went ahead and gave him the part over Will also. I can't wait to see how Gunn handles Amanda Waller, because I want her to be as sinister and ruthless as she is in the comic. And hope, and it's like, for the love of Mike, like DC, like Warner Brothers, do not touch this one. Like let James do his magic. If it does come out bad, let it be all on him. Like, I don't no more hiring a music video company to edit your movie or anything. Let James do his thing.
Okay. Yep. I 100% agree with what you said. And like Tzezuko, we came out of seeing Harley Quinn. Was happy with it, and I can't wait to see what they do with this. They have very light homages to Suicide Squad. Like, and when I say light, I mean like very, very like 1 second. There you go. It's done. Right. So I'm curious because the way the movie ended, it doesn't really set up like anything else except for like a sequel to maybe a Harley Quinn movie. You know, so it's like okay, if that, you know, it's like it's like a 90s movie, you know, it's like it's over. So I'm curious. And James Gunn, man, he's off. He said that when he started directing this movie, or started writing this movie, he said this is the most fun he's had writing a movie in a long time. So I think he's going to put his all into it. We're going to get his humor, which I enjoyed a lot of in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Same here.
Yeah, so if he could do with John Cena what he did with Batista, man, oh man, he's going to catapult John Cena's career if he could write him the way he wrote Batista. And I didn't get it from Tzezuko or Two Beards. I'll go with Tzezuko first. Real quick, Tzezuko, Bane, is he going to be in Suicide Squad too?
I don't care, I guess. They can throw anything
Okay.
at this.
She doesn't care. Two Beards, Bane, is he going to be in Suicide Squad? Yes or no?
I think he is. I hope he is. And even though it's already got a wrestler in there, how cool would it be if it was Alberto Del Rio?
Wow.
How awesome would that be, right?
Yeah. Maybe he could be a different character. But yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I would actually like to see Bane, since Bane is a luchador, actually have him played by a Mexican, even if it's not a wrestler, somebody who has the actual accent. Even though Nolan's Bane was very fun, it was not Bane. Are you? I was smarter than it.
I'm glad you accepted that, because me and you had arguments for a long time over that when it first came out. You're like, dude, you need to read the comics. That's Bane. I was like, okay.
You know what won me over?
What's that?
Those comedy,
Yes.
Batman comedy videos you sent me. You man who speaks to a crab.
Yes. Batman, yes. Batman, yes. All right, so our last topic is Stranger Things 4 is being recorded, and so they have a new trailer, and we'll talk about it with the end. We'll start it. So let's real quickly swap over and let's take a look at the new Stranger Things 4 teaser called From Russia with Love. All right, so Stranger Things, for those who are listening, you might want to fast forward because we're going to spoil stuff that was spoiled within the trailer. They showed the return of Hopper. Yes, the man who everybody believed died at the end of season 3, and you were wondering whether or not he was alive. And yeah, they show Hopper in the end of this teaser trailer. I'm going to go with YouTube ears first. What did you think of the trailer and them unfortunately spoiling Hopper's return?
I think it was bad pool. I think it completely dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he had showed up, even if he had showed up on the first, it started off right there. He shows up directly on the first episode. That's such a good moment, a feel good moment to lead into for the fan base. Like, even if this is a red herring, and that's not exactly Hopper, but like something in Hopper's body, or they pull something else weird off. But the fact is, I personally believe they should have saved it for the actual series itself.
All right, Zesco, I'll go to you next.
Yeah, I think they could have not ruined this part. It would have been nice, yeah. Totally, but whatever. I guess they're just trying to make sure people like tune in, because the last season kind of felt like, at least for me, a good place to kind of stop.
Yeah.
That's just my own personal opinion, and I'm not getting into spoilers. I just felt it was a good place to stop.
All right, Miss Tess.
Made me happy seeing him. I was like, yeah! But Two Beards brought up a good point. We don't even know if that's the real him or something that got pulled out of the ether, so that's kind of sad, though. So,
That is
I don't
true.
know.
Okay.
I watched the trailer, and then I listened to the kids singing the Never Ending Story song, so it was all good.
I'm glad they made you happy with this. I hated it. I when I saw this, I was like, well, maybe this is leading to Red Guardian for the Black Widow movie. Maybe that's why they're in Russia. He's just gonna go back, put the suit on, and fight with, Black Widow, and then this is a lead up to that. And then unfortunately, I saw the Netflix symbol at the bottom. I'm like, yeah, you can't be too happy. I just want to get into this thing where I don't know why this is a new trend, and I don't know if it's just to get people in. But we're seeing it a lot in movies, and I'm going to start off real quickly back to Zesco first on this. A lot of trailers now are just throwing like big spoilers like in the end of the movie, and I don't understand why, right? So you got Terminator Genesis where they're like, oh yeah, you remember John Connor? Guess what? Now he's a Terminator. We got Fast Furious 9, which we showed about 2 weeks ago, and it's like, oh yeah, you remember Justice from Han? Yeah, he's here. Look, yeah, we're just gonna throw him in walking in there. We got the freaking Morbius trailer where it's like, oh yeah, you remember the Vulture from that nice cutscene in that Marvel movie? Yeah, we're just gonna throw him in there. Zesco, what is with movie trailers now just throwing spoilers, like, I mean, huge spoilers, big moments in like the last 5 seconds of their trailers?
Again, I really think it's because they want to shock you and make you wonder, how did this happen? Now I have to go see the movie. But for me, it was just like, oh, well, gee, that was a cool reveal, and now you've already shown it to me. So you suck. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But I can only think that it's, marketing department. Slap them hard. I don't know. It's just stupid.
All right, Miss Tess, I want to go to you next. Thoughts on spoilers and trailers?
I think spoilers and trailers, somebody, that's gonna put it right, someone in marketing thought it was a cool idea to do, so it became a trend, and now it's like the in thing to do, which is not cool. I mean, it happens all the time. Someone spoils for you, but I mean, if it holds its salt, you'll go see it. But why even bother? But I understand they probably do it to capture certain generations' attention to bring them into the movie. So it's probably not going to be a trend that ends anytime soon.
All right, Two Beards.
I think the majority of it is everybody has said so far about the whole like they feel that they have to throw that shock moment in to make sure that people are going to either watch it or secure seats if something was coming out in theaters. I also think when it's not that, I think it's also part of that sometimes whenever an editing company gets the footage for a movie, they just basically give them a ton of clips. Some of the clips don't even make it into the final movie itself, and like a lot of the times the editors who are editing it, they don't even know exactly what they're putting. They don't even know exactly what they're putting into the movie. They're not given a clear guideline of what should be used, so they're just using what the scenes and clips that look the coolest. So I think sometimes that actually happens and stuff gets ruined that way.
Okie doke. We're moving along. All right. So this one's going to be a very interesting topic. This is a topic that me and Two Beers are going to probably sit back and shut up like good men. And we're going to go into because a lot of times we're not going to lie. No, for the most part, Shoot the Shit has been a boys' club, right? We need some female opinion on certain topics, right? So we cover a lot of issues, and one of the topics we want to go into, an issue that's come up many a times in our thing, is the fact of women's rights, right? And it's not whether or not women should have rights. It's the fact of something happens that involves a woman, even if it's not the woman. If you take the woman's side, you're always thrown out as you're white knighting, right? We had an episode where Paige was just doing, Triple H was doing the interview, and in the interview he just says out of the blue, yeah, Paige and Edge probably have children they don't know about, right? And I know it was a joke in his mind. He probably didn't mean what he meant from it. But Paige is like, wow, I can't believe he even made that joke. He even thinks I'm a joke. And all the women were in an uproar over it, which is because you don't say those things, right? And you don't say them out in public. And we brought this up and we said, yeah, it was a horrible comment. And we get the comment of, oh, you're white knighting because, you know, she shouldn't have made that video. She shouldn't have leaked that. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. First off, she didn't make the video. Her boyfriend made the fucking video. Secondly, you know, they get hacked. The footage goes on 2 years later. She wants to almost kill herself because she feels her life is over because her private moments are shared with everybody. Keep in mind, she's the victim, which a lot of people don't want to believe. And it's like, oh, well, you're white knighting, right? And then you got the other issue with Amber Heard. Amber Heard and Johnny Depp are fighting. Everybody took Amber Heard's side when she said, oh, Johnny Depp is such a horrible person. And Johnny Depp's like, no, man, she's physical with me. She's physical with me. Stop hitting me. And it came out of recordings that Johnny Depp got hit. So we want to get a female perspective on a lot of these topics and a lot of these views. When it comes to reports from women, as a man, what should we do? And I'm going to start off with you, Tzezuko, first. When we get reports from whether it's Hollywood, stories, or whatever, as a man, how can we best support the female community when these reports and these stories first come out? And I'll go with you, Tzezuko, first.
Not being put on the spot at all, but sure.
We want a female. We're going to go with Miss Tess too, but we want to go with a female representation. We're just going to sit back and listen to you lovely ladies tell us what, as men, we should be doing. What's the proper way of handling these situations when they come up and we have cooler talk. So go ahead, Tzezuko.
I mean, I'm going to just put it out there. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. If the information is not been presented with actual facts, wait until the actual facts come out. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. And if somebody's going to, excuse my language, bitch and cry and say, oh, white knighting, shut the fuck up. Straight up. I don't give a damn. I try not to make assumptions until I have some sort of facts to base my beliefs off of. And I think that's a good idea anybody should follow in general. But, you know, people will do them and whatever they want to do. You know, if you make an opinion, you know, just be aware if there's no facts behind it, you know, you could be proven wrong. And even when you think you have the facts, sometimes they're fabricated because the media is biased as fuck. But again, this whole, oh, you're such a feminist, oh, you're white knighting, oh, you're misogynistic, this whole him versus her thing, come on, how old are we for real, people? Didn't we get out of this when we were like in elementary school? If not, then you need to, you know, reevaluate yourself and just realize, regardless of if you've got a dick or you've got ovaries, god damn it, we're all people. Shit happens. People are assholes to people. Women are just as abusive as men. It happens. And just because you think a woman is not physically strong enough to manhandle someone does not mean that a woman cannot still be the abusive one or be the perpetrator or, I'm going to go ahead and go there. The Me Too movement. It started out with a good idea and a good belief, and then I'm not even going to. Actually, I'm not. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not, because that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, that's where I am. Just use your best judgment when it comes to any topic, regardless of if it's a man or a woman. And if some dude or woman is going to sit there and complain that you're white knighting because you're, defending somebody else who's being wronged, just back up your shit.
All right,
regardless of being a woman.
I'm going to come back to you because I have a question for you with what you said. But before I do, Miss Tess, what are your thoughts on how men should react to these stories when they come up to support females' perspective and community?
Because I don't trust motherfuckers in general, because people lie too much. I want proof. I understand that, okay, example, like that guy hit you over there. Okay, but what else happened? People are always quick to jump into the defense of a female. I don't know if it's like out of chivalry or what have you. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but there have been cases where these girls are out here putting the blame on people for things they didn't do. Everybody jumps to their side, and then, of course, after the fact, oh, she lied. Okay, they're not apologizing to the real victims of the situation. It's just like, oh, well, he's a dude, so he probably has done it to somebody, so he doesn't need an apology. But I'm with Tzezuko. You gotta have facts, like have it proven. You can't just make stuff up and think that you should be believed about it. If it's something that's true, then the facts are gonna come out. For guys, all right, show sympathy in the case if something happens. Don't come off as a jerk about it, but also, try to coax some facts out, like what happened. Try to find out what the story is. Don't just attack the other person without knowing both sides of the story, or at least having a mediator or something, because that's where a lot of problems come up. It's only, hey, I'm just going to believe one side of the story. You brought up a good point where you said that Johnny Depp was being abused. Nobody believed him until the proof came out. It's a sad fact. Men can be abused just as much as, women, but because of the whole masculinity thing, guys aren't going to believe that, oh, that dude's being abused, yeah, whatever. So just believe the facts when they come out and just accept it.
Awesome. Okay. So, good information. No, it's good information. You don't get to talk to Beers. You don't have ovaries, as stated. But
Yeah, I don't say anything.
but I do have a question though for the ladies, and we're gonna bring in a situation, and this is a good situation that I want to bring in. So you have Gabrielle Union, who brings up a lawsuit in November about America's Got Talent, and she's stating about how she wasn't allowed to wear certain hairstyles because they were too ethnic, certain clothes, Simon Cowell smoking in buildings, how they treated a lot of the workers who I believe were either Asian or Spanish, and a lot of people of different darker shade. They weren't treated as well or weren't given enough opportunities in terms of talent. And then you have Terry Crews, on the other hand, who goes on there and he's like, well, I can't talk to her from a female's perspective, but yeah, none of that really happened because this company is great. They got a black CEO exec who runs the company, and everything is good. We got diversity everywhere. So we get two different messages, right? We have one that's stating, hey, from a female perspective, hey, there's issues of race and sexism within there. And we got somebody from other things saying, yeah, racism doesn't really exist. They're awesome. So you got two issues, right? And one basically overshadows the other, right? It kind of sucks it up and spits it out. So I'm asking you from these type of perspectives, when these things happen, outside of Terry Crews shutting up, which is, we all know he should have, but what should we do? Because a lot of stuff that when other people talk, they validate the experiences that these women may be having. What should we do in these situations? And these are the kind of situations that I'm talking about. And I'll start off with you, Tess, on this one.
Sounds like an excuse to me, because it's like, so black people are someone of color is in charge. Like, big deal. That doesn't stop or mean that racism doesn't happen. So we had to wear our hair like different styles and we couldn't do this or that. Like, he doesn't have the same experience that she's going to experience. And also, like, as a black female, yeah, there are situations where people disapprove of natural hair and other hairstyles that females of melanin African American women have. It's natural to us, but for whatever reason, they take offense to it. So that means just because they don't like it, we can't do it. Was instead of talking trash about her and firing her, they should have opened up a dialogue or something. Because I'm pretty sure she's not the only one who experienced that, but she's the only one who actually, she does have clout in the industry. She might not have as much clout as Simon Cowell, but she still has clout. She chose to speak up and start a platform about it because, hey, I don't blame her. Like, don't tell me how to wear my hair. If he can smoke in the building, I should be able to wear my hair how I want. Why do I not get as much airtime, or just an example, as the other people do who have lighter melanin? Why are you treating the minority people who work there like they're less of people than you are the Caucasian people? I don't find the inequality cool at all. It's unfortunate that it happens. It shouldn't, but it's an unfortunate fact of life. But yeah, they shouldn't have escalated it to firing her because she spoke her mind about what was going on. No corporation is perfect. Everything's awesome, happy-go-lucky. Like, every corporation has problems. And rather than firing her and trying to sweep it under the rug, they should have sat down and discussed what the hell was going on. But I don't think they would have gotten real answers, because it probably could have ended up as a situation where, hey, if you speak up, you're going to lose your job. So, yeah, it's a shame. They shouldn't have fired her like that. They should have listened to her.
Awesome. Tzezuko.
Yeah, I agree. They definitely shouldn't have fired her. And even though this is like the era of natural hair and all this other stuff, it still is not everywhere. There's still a lot of people that don't understand, don't want to understand, and don't want to think about the fact that, hey, my natural hair rises to the occasion. It does not fall. So when I, wash and brush my hair out, and just like Peggy Sue or whatever washes and brushes her hair out, hers might fall straight down, and that's it, and she can walk into work, and that's over and done with. Nobody's going to blink twice. But if my hair is in a natural fro and it's gloriously big, people have something to say. No, you don't have a right to have something to say about that. This is me being natural, being me. My God-given hair. So shut up, sit down, let me do me. That's the whole point of that. And then when she's wearing her clothes, as long as she doesn't have, an inappropriate amount of skin, hanging out, or, logos or anything that are offensive, because of course, because you're in the media, you can't advertise specific things. I get that. But sitting there saying that it's too ethnic, excuse me? No. You don't have a right to tell me what's too ethnic. This is my culture, whether you understand it or not. So, shut up. And that's my opinion on that part. Terry Crews should have shut up too. Let's go ahead and be honest. You should have just shut the fuck up.
You judge and say, "Oh, no, bro."
Yeah. His experience as a black man is not going to be the same as a black woman's experience. And if you want to look at statistics and everything else, pretty much every other ethnic minority female is accepted in some way, shape, or form more so than a black woman. So a black woman has to struggle even harder in everything that we do because we have a lot of stereotypes sitting against us. And if we want to be ourselves and we want to be proud of our culture and we want to show it by displaying it in our hair, in our dress, in whatever, all of that stuff has been caricatured. All of that stuff has been made into stereotypes so much in the media that we have to fight against that and to re-educate the world of what it is to be a black woman, and that we're not all angry black women who are mad at men and mad at everything. And yes, we have passion. Fuck you for not liking our passion.
Awesome.
Sorry.
And, no, one last thing I want to get to, and then we'll go into the last subject. Do you feel, as a black or African American woman, do you feel that black African men do not support you as much in certain situations as you do them? And I'll start with you on Tess. I mean, you, Tzezuko, on this one. In various things.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And a lot of the reason for that is because, again, the stereotype and also the requirements of being a black woman is often being strong, standing on your own, taking nobody's shit when it comes down to stuff. So it's an assumption that we don't need somebody to, going back to the term that you used earlier, white knight us, even though it's not a requirement for you to white knight us anyway. Just understanding and being understanding is much better than trying to suddenly become our white knight. But if you look at a lot of situations, you will see black men will stand up for other women faster than they will stand up for black women. A lot of times. They'll sit there and say they're melanin queen and they're goddess and all this other stuff. But a lot of times when the going gets tough, oh, well, she's just angry. And they fall back into those stereotypes too, where they just make those assumptions. And that's detrimental. And that's another thing of the programming of pitting us against ourselves. And we have to recognize those things and all the subliminal messages that are put into our minds through media and everything that we've read and seen up to this point in our lives and start deprogramming ourselves.
Awesome. Good stuff, Tess.
I have to elaborate on anything she said. It was on point in certain situations. But to add to that, it's kind of few and far in between depending on your situation. Whereas some black men might fall by the wayside, so to speak, and do that. There are a few who do, actually, without being, white knighting or anything. They do support their, I don't know, terminology, but they do support their, sisters, their mother or something in their endeavors. So, yeah, it's one of those things where people want to keep pointing out all the misses, but there's a couple of hits that are pretty good too that are notable. So yeah, I think it would be a lot better communication wise, and people just stop listening to the media and all the propaganda and the stereotypes, and we would be just fine.
I totally agree. And I want to say, I'm not saying all black men are bad, because I love my black men. Love them. Love them. And there are plenty of black men that do support women, black women specifically, but there's also a lot of the programming, as I stated before, and the assumption that they'll be fine, they can take care of themselves, or even worse, the crabs in the barrel. Sometimes, let's be honest. But yeah, I'm not saying all black men are bad, because again, I love my black men, but I'm not trying to look for hoteps either. I'm sorry. I'm saying that now.
Awesome. Sorry. Thank you, ladies, for giving us a little bit more insight.
Yes, it was great.
And And from ladies, did you all know that tomorrow the world's going to end? That's right, folks. Forget the coronavirus. The Earth destroyer asteroid is coming straight for Earth, and they said that it'll probably miss us. NASA says that it'll probably miss us by 0.038 astronomical units. I have no clue what that means, but they say it's larger than the tallest building on Earth, and it's big enough to trigger major impact event, nuclear winter, mass extinction, and everything. So evidently this meteor is supposed to be asteroid is supposed to be coming by, I believe, tomorrow morning. Yeah, tomorrow morning, I believe.
Standard time.
Yeah.
Central Mountain Time.
I don't know. I know it's just tomorrow morning. I'm trying to see if I can find the time, but yeah, it's supposed to hit Saturday morning. Well, not hit. It's supposed to swing by us Saturday. So I don't know if we'll be able. I think if you have a telescope, you'll probably be able to see it. But I'm going to start off with YouTube here, since we were shutting up last topic and we were letting the ladies have their moment to share with our community. I want to go with you. What do you think about the latest meteor that's supposed to barely miss us and swing by?
I think this happens a lot. Like, I don't think there's any chance of any danger whatsoever. If it does come, hopefully we'll all be asleep, and so we never wake up. We never even knew it hit. Yeah, but other than that, like, this is we've been hearing about meteors getting close enough to hit the Earth. I feel that we've been hearing about tons of them since I was back. I think if it was a serious threat, I think you would see more things happening. Like, you would see people in the top 1% start going into bunkers, and you would see big shift in movements made around the world. People wouldn't be so calm doing their normal things they're doing. That's how I look at it anyway. Like, if it's to the point where it's an actual real danger, you'll start seeing moves being made by a lot of people.
Hey, I've already made my piece.
Hey.
Hey, I'm cool either way. I think it's more interesting that people are complaining about Trump. Yes, Trump. But anyway, yeah, there's been a lot of meteors, whizzing by Earth supposedly, and it's not like I can go out there like Superman and go stop the meteor. So what am I gonna do about it if it happens? Seriously.
Tess, I want to go with you. What's your thoughts on the meteor?
Psychic told me that 2020 was my year, so fuck that meteor. No, but seriously, I agree with Two Beards. If it was that dangerous of a thing, it would be like widespread panic, because the media wouldn't be able to keep it contained. And he's right, the 1% would be trying to find ways to protect themselves and theirs. So, yeah, it is what it is, though, at the end of the day. But yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So I went to take a look at Google, and I wanted to know what was 0.038 astronomical units. What does it translate into? And it translates into 3,532,320.7 miles.
So we're good.
Yeah, I think we should be pretty good. I don't know if it's close enough to have like impact where it'll cause like tsunamis or anything like that, where it has that kind of impact, but like gravitational impact. But yeah.
That okay.
Yeah.
But it's not something that's going to directly hit the Earth unless it go for whatever unknown reason it veers off course. But
yeah,
for all what's the phrase intents purposes, we're pretty safe from a direct impact. We just might get residuals if anything.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So that's interesting to know.
Yeah, unless it's destiny. Unless God was just like, You fucked it up too much. I'm done with you. Like, he just threw a rock from heaven. He's like, be gone. Like, fuck you all. And that's it. Other than that, like, I don't. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not worried. Like I said, if I'm not gonna be one of those guys who are gonna act like I'm some sort of tough guy. Like, if I wake up tomorrow and the whole earth is shaking and the sun's blocked up, I'll be like, man, this is some fucked up shit, man. Like, I had like 40 years of being like oppressed and like being fucked over and like, and this is how I was gonna end it. Yeah, a fucking space rock is gonna take all the life out. We didn't even get fucking reparations and shit. Yeah, I don't, like, I'm gonna be pissed off if that's the footnote on the end of the world like that. But yeah, but it is what it is.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to go to our last topic of the night, and we're actually making somewhat good time. A little bit behind, but that's fine. We're going to real quickly swap over. So, One United Bank, which is supposed to be the largest black-owned bank out there, just introduced their new Harriet Tubman card, where it looks like she's throwing up the Wakanda salute. But according to One United, she's supposed to be throwing up a symbol for love. As stated, let's go real quickly to the One United, and they say, our limited edition Harriet Tubman Visa debit is a symbol of black empowerment. Don't miss out. Get the card today. And then when people got upset, they said, Harriet Tubman is the ultimate symbol of love. Love that causes you to sacrifice everything, including your own life. The gesture is a sign language symbol for love, and it's important that we love ourselves. They're catching a lot of flack for this. I, on the other hand, hate this company for other reasons, but I think we're going to start off with you, Tess. What do you think of Harriet Tubman and the love/Wakanda sign language image?
They could have done a different pose. I'm sorry. It even look like it goes with the picture. They just tossed on there afterthought.
I agree.
Wakanda, like, what the hell? Just stop it. Your marketing team fucked up. It's a terrible. Like, if I want a better representation. I wouldn't. No, absolutely not. They fucked up. That's just pointed blank. And now they're just trying to cover it up and with some bullshit story. It's about love because she's represented love. Well, she also represented peace, strength, and ferocity, but you don't see her mentioning that. They're just trying to cover shit up. Next.
Mm-hmm. All right, Tzezuko, your thought on Wakanda Forever, Harriet Tubman.
All right, I'm just going to call it as it is. That's some bullshit. We all know. Come on. That's Wakanda Forever. I mean, yes, the universal symbol of love, not I love you, but love is crossed arms, kind of like that. Similar, not the same. At this moment, in this time and era, after Black Panther, that is Wakanda Forever. We all know this. And if, by chance, their marketing team fucked up that much and somebody still, first and foremost, somebody made the image. Somebody checked it, quality controlled, and then it still made it to the point of being printed, heads should be rolling. So, just simple as that. And no, love does not identify with Harriet Tubman. I'm sorry. As Ms. Tess said, courage, perseverance, all of those things, which, by the way, we got a Harriet Tubman movie about, but not love. We're not...
Like,
huh?
Oh my God, you had reference. That's what you came up with.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Like, yes, I'm hating. I'm sorry, but go on.
I mean, it's like, come on, we're not stupid. We're not stupid. We're not stupid.
Arms don't even go in the same plane. Oh my God. What the hell?
There's so many people that want to believe so much that Wakanda is actually out there, and we could just go to Africa and just find this mythical, magical place that they just want to put up Harriet Tubman with the Wakanda Forever symbol.
So
let's go find it.
Come on, let's go.
Go.
So, Two Beers, as we covered before, Wakanda was an agricultural partner. We did cover this on the show before in the past, right? Me and you both covered that. So, what do you think of this image?
History told us that Wakanda was burned down in Oklahoma. So this is as Tzezuko put it, this is some old bullshit. Like bad marketing be bad marketing. Like they were not thinking this through. They had somebody probably thought that shit, because you can already tell it looked like two pieces of different art chopped together. I think the original piece was probably just like a bust from her head and shoulders down to like a middle of the waist, which would have been perfectly fine for the card. And some dumbass who's a number cruncher somewhere who relies on popularity and algorithms was like, Black Panther was real big, it made all this money. Yo, if we have her doing the Wakanda Forever symbol, that shit's gonna be hot. And just
everybody will want one.
Yeah, just patch the two arms on there. And let's just even say that that's not what happened. If this was originally how they originally expected to conquer and draw the piece, like, it's bad optics. Like anybody would know that, like, hey, if we put this piece out, there's one of the biggest black movies just came out within the past 2 years. They're gonna think that we are taking a symbolic black legend and we're attaching it to a pop culture movie. It's not gonna be a good look. So like anybody with even the least amount of sense would have known not to have her throw that symbol up. It's just like fucking stupid. I do not try to hate on other artists at all, but that image is really messed up. Like, her face looks like it's a different color, like from the rest of the body.
Her
the
face
arms
is
look like
ashier than her hand. So it's too different.
It's so freaking weird. Like it's almost like it's just chopped up different pieces of art, all mosh podge together to make one piece. I just think they dropped the ball. I actually had somebody tell me that I was overreacting to it. I don't think I am. I just think that they did something stupid and they gave a bullshit excuse for their stupidity. So yeah, that's my take on it. What about you, Mr. Khan?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. I was going to basically talk about how the image is just so off. Everything about it just like, just looking at the tone, the lighting of the hands to her face, like none of it matches. Hell, even the two, if you honestly look at the two hands don't even match.
Nope.
The two hands don't match.
I'm sorry. As an artist, I'm mad. I'm like, you couldn't go in and actually, take the picker and just check and see?
Yeah,
and be like, look,
correct.
They ain't even say, oh, who needs to get fired? Let me do it.
Yeah, they didn't even color correct it. It's just,
She looks like she has like a tan on her face, like one of those goggle things going on. What was she doing?
And then it's like her look is like, why did you put me on this? Why is my face here?
Like,
you done fucked up, right? Bill Duke
like,
just comes
this to
in.
me? Didn't I save enough of your ancestors to be disrespected like this?
Oh my gosh.
They asked like the only black dude who worked in the department, and he was like, I don't want nothing to do with this. Well, sure you do. It's about your people. He was like, I'm gonna be sick for the next week. So there you go.
I think it's a horrible image. I'm glad that it's getting flack. And for any of those who want to put money into One United and give them business, don't. Fuck One United. Yes, I said it. They're a fucking scam. Don't do it. Fuck One United. All right.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yep, that's how I really feel. All right, so we covered all of our topics for today, but we always do at the end, for those who are new, end of the show, we take a look at one thing that happened, like we call the what the fuck of the week, or wow. And so we're going to take a listen to a story real quick. And although this story did not happen exactly this week, the results of it came, and when I heard it, I was like, "Yeah, we're going to have to play this." So I'm going to swap over real quick, and we're going to listen to a real quick news report for our What the Fuck of the Week. And guess what, folks? For once, I don't think it was in Florida.
What?
A man was awarded more than $500,000 in a settlement with the city of West Lynn after its former police chief reportedly told officers to arrest the man as a favor for a friend. Jenny Young digging deeper. Jenny, I know you sat down and talked with that man tonight. What did he have to say?
Well, Jennifer, I think one of the first things that you realize about Michael Fasser when you meet him is his genuine kindness and humility. He volunteers at a prison three days a week. He runs an organization that helps men transition out of prison. He is so fortunate that he, his 2 teenage sons, and his wife are finally through this.
Just tremendously honest, straightforward, stand-up human being.
That's Portland attorney Paul Buchanan speaking about the character of his client, Michael Fesser, a man who, after 3 years, has finally achieved justice.
Some light had to be shined on this. This cannot happen. It has to stop.
The story starts 3 years ago when Fesser's former boss at a Portland towing company asked former West Lynn police chief Terry Timeus to investigate Fesser for theft, a claim there was no evidence for. Court documents say Timeus and Fesser's boss were buddies.
They just started out by trying to assassinate my character.
In the months prior, Fesser had been telling his boss about some of the racial discrimination he'd reportedly been enduring at work. One court record says some of Fesser's co-workers called him the N-word and other racial slurs. On February 27, 2017, Fesser was headed home from work in southeast Portland when his SUV was surrounded by police units from both Portland Police and West Lynn. West Lynn Police told Fesser to get out of the vehicle. Police detained him at a Portland precinct. The lawsuit filed in federal court claims Fesser's boss was worried he was going to file a discrimination suit against the company. The city of West Lynn agreed to settle the lawsuit for $600,000, but in a statement said this settlement is not an admission of liability. Fesser is just happy to be able to move forward with his family. He's a man of faith and has embraced forgiveness.
And what's really going to help is if we come together as a community, and their community also, come together and we just move through this process so it doesn't happen again.
And he and his attorney both told us that this was not about money. It was never about money. Part of this settlement is that he gets to sit face to face with the mayor of West Lynn and some members of the police force, including the current chief of police. Now that meeting is still being arranged. Jennifer, back to you in the studio.
All right. Jenny Young, thank you.
All right, folks. So we got a guy who wants to report discrimination to his boss, and his boss is afraid that him and his company will get sued. So he talks to his police friend and has the man arrested. What the fuck kind of world do we live in where this shit is happening? This is just so nuts. And this is our What the Fuck of the Week. I'm going to start off with you, Tess. What's your thoughts on what happened and transpired for Mr. Fesser?
People need to be fucking fired for that. That is so not even cool. And the fact that you call your cop buddies to arrest him on false charges just so you won't get sued. What the hell were you thinking? Like, what a piece of shit human being. And the people who help facilitate that are pieces of shit too. Like, my God. I'm glad he won the lawsuit. But shit, man. Yeah. What the fuck indeed? Not even cool.
Two Beards?
And see, y'all wonder why God threw that rock at, because of shit like this. So that man has incredible an incredible well of forgiveness in him. I would be so mad that after that I would want it would be about money with me. I would want that guy's whole company taken down. Like I would want him to have nothing. I would be like I don't like you may have not hated black people at first, but you're gonna hate them now. Like that would have really pissed me off that I'm following company protocol. I come to you to report some bullshit happened in the company, and you're so afraid that you're going to get sued that you have me arrested. Like that is like on false charges of that. Like you're literally about to fuck up my whole life, have something on my record on some trumped up charges just because I came to you to report something that was actually happening in the company. So yeah, this dude he has a solid heart of gold because I couldn't have been as forgivable about the incident as he was.
All right. So Tzezuko, as he stated, he said the company called him racial slurs, and they even taunted him with the Confederate flag. Tzezuko, your thoughts on Fesser's story?
Oh, I got I don't even need to say nothing. I just want to play This Is America. Childish Gambino. Like straight up. That's it. This is what we're dealing with right now. This is how America is right now.
Yeah.
I literally have friends who left the country because they couldn't deal with the bullshit no more. Yeah. It's people are bold right now. Mm-hmm. People think that they can do whatever with impunity and nobody can touch them. And that they can hide behind the big orange and his words and his actions and they'll be fine. And it's scary to think about how we've kind of regressed. We literally have. It's like, are we back in the 50s again?
Yeah.
Starting to feel that way.
It really is.
So that people know, he was awarded $600,000 in the settlement for the wrongful arrest, but he also got another 400. I know it's funny. He got another $415,000 from his former boss and company for the racial discrimination. So he's made over $1 million from this case, and I know he says it's not about money, but to kind of repeat Two Beer's sentiment, I'm petty as hell. It would have definitely been her. I would have shut everything down. You're not going to do this. You're not. If I'm having an issue and the first thing you're going to do is call the cops because I want to report an issue, call the cops to arrest me on charges of stealing. Yeah, we got a problem. We got a problem, and I just don't understand. Like from a cop's perspective, knowing the law, why would you even do this? Like
I know.
Oh boy.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I know why you're saying it, but I mean, this is your pension. There's a lot of stuff on the line for this, right?
No, there's nothing on the line for them. That's the point. They do this every day, all day, every day. This is their MO. Oh my goodness. One of them is out of line. Let me come down and fix them. Let me teach them a lesson.
Oh,
Tell me
God.
I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
If I was Fesser,
they feel they can.
every police officer that touched me wouldn't have a pension if I was that man.
I guess, you know?
They're protected.
And the last thing I'm tired of hearing is all these people saying, I'm tired of these people, these victims always having to bow down and say, "Oh well, let's come together and let's figure out a way to stop this from happening." No. You want this to stop? Start slamming these motherfuckers. Take away their pension. Start taking away their fucking houses, putting them in jail. Put a penalty on these motherfuckers so that they know when they do shit that steps outside the boundaries of their law and their job, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get fucked over, and you're going to get fucked over badly. And I guarantee you, if you start setting examples with these motherfuckers, there's no need to sit down and talk. There's no need to work out different things. These fuckers will clear up. Because guess what? They're going to lose out a lot of fucking shit, and it's going to go through their head. Oh, fuck. Should I really be doing this? Nah, I'm about 5 years from retirement. Nah, I don't want to lose my pension. I'm going to play this by the book. That's what you need to start doing. You need to start fucking attacking. And I said this before. Keep in mind, folks, I come from a family of police officers. My father was a police officer. His brother was a police officer and a sergeant. My cousins were police officers. I come from a family of law enforcement, right? It's just in my blood. You can't allow this, right? And a lot of these fuckers are protected by the unions and so forth, and you can't get to them, and they're let off the hook. You gotta start attacking their pensions. That's that, and I hate to say this because they put so much into it. Trust me, but you got to. It's the only way these fuckers are going to learn. I'm tired of hearing stories of, oh yeah, well, we kind of knew Gary was a racist when he had a Confederate flag, or he was doing this and that, and he was telling Escovez to go back, but we never thought it would get out his heart. No, if you know this motherfucker's a racist, then how the fuck can this motherfucker be able to fucking, within his best judgment, protect my fucking rights or any minority's rights if he's a fucking racist?
Exactly.
These fuckers need to fucking go. I'm sorry. This is a pet peeve for me. These fuckers need to just go. And I blame not only the cops, but I blame all the other fucking cops, the brothers and sisters of the FOP and their law enforcements who don't rat out these motherfuckers and get them out of the precinct. I'm tired of it. You need to start cleaning your own fucking house. You got to. Because it's making you all look bad. And I know it's only a few bad apples, but it's making you all look bad. It's destroying people's views of all police forces because of a couple bad apples. You need to kick these fuckers out. But yeah, that's me. I wouldn't want to just sit down with the mayor. These motherfuckers, I would have been suing every motherfucker. Everybody would have got sued. And I wouldn't be as nice as this guy. And I can see from his picture, he seems like a pretty cool guy. Though even the report's like, yeah, he seems chill. But yeah.
You know what's gonna happen next, right? He's gonna go try to cash that check at a bank.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was.
I think this check is fake.
That was our wow from last week, folks. That was our what the fuck from last week, where a guy who won the discrimination case with his job went to go cash a check and then was discriminated as bank, only for him to then therefore bring up another lawsuit of discrimination now against the bank. Yeah, that was our what the fuck up last week. Oh man. So folks,
and you cats really out there think that like we don't be going through this.
Oh, they're just making it up. What are you talking about? Nobody's like that. Yeah, we're just making up all of our lives, all of our experiences. That's all,
That's what our people do.
There are people who
we entertain everybody with our stories of stuff. They just can't get enough of this shit.
We can't even make this shit up at this point. It's just so preposterous. It's like we can't even make it up. We just tired.
Yep.
We tired.
It's like, hey, as I always say, you guys may be tired of hearing about it, but we're tired of living it.
Thank you. So I want to say happy Valentine's Day to our wonderful community. And I want to say thank you to the lovely ladies, the wives of the KNOE, for joining us on this wonderful Valentine's Day. I appreciate y'all both for coming on. And we're going to start off with you, Tess. If you could tell our wonderful guests and our community where they can find you if they want to reach out to you and talk to you.
I'm on Instagram at art_by_a_tess. So art_by_a_tess Instagram. I'm also on Facebook at art_by_a_tess on Facebook. We have a con coming up in March, so I'm going to be working on some stickers and other products to be selling, magnets. But if you can't wait till the convention to get my awesome swag, you can go to Store Envy, and on Store Envy it'll be Art by Tess. So check it out.
Awesome.
Got a lot of cute work, yo.
And
Thank you.
And Tzezuko, thank you for being a guest. Also, tell the folks where they can find you and what projects you have.
All right. You can find me at Tzezuko, Tzezuko. Again, Tzezuko at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. My current projects are short stories and a long form book that I am working on at this time. You can get access to it at my Tzezuko Patreon. Also, I do portraits and caricatures on there as well, so stop by, come take a look. And that's about it.
Yes, thank you. Awesome. And my co-host, Mr. Two Beers, we made it 10 episodes and still going strong, sir. Tell these people where they can find you.
You can follow me on Twitter at Scorpio Report. You can find me on my art sites at under the tag Bitsaki. And I have still not updated these art sites in a while. But still, go look anyway. Go check my artwork out. I have a lot of new stuff that's coming out of the pipeline, including some books. So I will probably hawk those on here as well as soon as they're ready. Yeah, just come check me out. Drop me a line. Argue with me if you want. It doesn't matter.
Awesome. And I am Khan. As always, you can find me here on Twitter, actually on Twitch and YouTube under ARNGM. That's ARNGM. You can find us all the time. Schedule down below for Twitch if you want to watch and come by our streams. It's usually going to be Wednesday through Saturday. And if you want to get at me on Twitter and you want to, talk, yell, scream, do whatever, you could get me at Moebees, Moebees. Yes, come out, tell me I'm white knighting, say whatever you want. It don't matter. I'm here. I can take it. I'm a big boy. And for all those listening, I want to say thank you to all you who are listening to our podcast. I know we were late. Episode 9 is still not uploaded. Smack my hand. I am horrible, but as I stated before, last week was my anniversary. My lovely wife, Tzezuko. We were behind, and then I just threw my whole loop for a loop. So I will be editing this episode and episode 9, and they will both be coming out on Tuesday. So look for it on our streaming services, and we're on pretty much everything from Pandora to Spotify to Stitcher to Google Music to Apple iTunes, everything, Wooshka, all of it. And if we're not on it, let us know, and we will be on it. So to all my wonderful guests, I want to say thank you all for joining us for another episode. Happy Valentine's Day, and goodbye, all.
Peace.
Good night. Meow meow.